I have recently just got back on a trip from Florida. It was very unexpected and last minute, and I thought I would show you the books that I purchased whilst I was away. I will just get right in because there's quite a few books. I will say I didn't read that much this holiday. I read only 2 books, which is very unusual for me. I usually will read like 4 or 5 maximum, so that was very unusual. But we were out a lot at the parks and just like enjoying relaxing and things like that, so wasn't a lot of reading time. There was like only a couple of days where we spent around the pool. So yeah, I will start with one book that I got just before we went away, but it links quite heavily to our trip, and that is The Dream Guide by Adam Hatton. This is his dream guide to Walt Disney World. I purchased this just before we went, and it is a signed, personalised edition. Adam Hatton is a YouTuber, a vlogger here, and he does a lot of Disney vlogs. I would highly recommend them. They are hilarious, especially the ones with his friend Gary. And this is one of 2 books I believe he's got out. He's got the Dream Guide to the Cruise as well, and then he's also got a planner which I think he's just about to re-release. But yeah, I got this just before we went away. As someone who's been to Disney multiple times in like the past 2 decades, I don't know how useful I found it. I did read it just before we went away. As I was saying, as someone that's quite advanced at going to Disney, it didn't help me a ton. Obviously, I love Adam, that's why I got the book. So this helped me more as terms of like booking for resorts and restaurants if you watch our vlogs. So when they come out, make sure you hit subscribe so you stay posted when those come out. You'll see we did end up staying in a resort. So this book did come in handy for that. And yeah, but if it's your first time, your first couple of times, you're still not overly sure on some things, you've not been there much, this is a really good guide to have. It really covers everything from like the perfect things to do when it's raining, things like meeting characters and where to stand for shows, and all sorts of things like general like being in Florida, like tipping and, you know, booking your actual information for the trip, like when to go in the year, all sorts. So if you've not been much or you're thinking about going, this is a good book for that. So I'll move on to the 4 books that I bought at the airport. I did go slightly crazy at the airport, and one of the books I've read, and that is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. As you know, I have started to get, I'd like to say back into the books, but I never really got into the books the first time around when I was younger. But I do have all of the books in the original hardcover British series, but I don't want to read them because, you know, they're in very good condition for their age, and because I never read them and they've been up in my parents' attic, and you know, some of them are quite low edition, so I don't really want to read them. So I did pick up a new copy of The Prisoner of Azkaban so I could just read it, not have to worry too much about actually reading it and bending the spine and if it gets wet or whatever. So I got that one, and then I also got The Goblet of Fire because I thought I might be quite an avid reader this trip. Obviously I wasn't that quick, so I will probably buy the rest of the books in this series of this paperback form, and then probably buy the first 2 as well in this, just so I have a full set. I really quite like the look of these ones. So yeah, I got those 2, and needless to say, I loved Prisoner of Azkaban. If you want to see any specific book reviews on things, let me know. But it's always best to follow my Goodreads. It's always linked down below in the description box. So go follow me on there. It's the best place to get like updates of what I'm currently reading. And then I got these 2 books. These were buy one get one half price. So I got The Note Through the Wire, which is the incredible true story of a prisoner of war and a resistance heroine. So this is set during World War II and the Holocaust. It says, in the heart of Nazi-occupied Europe, 2 people meet fleetingly in a chance encounter. One is an underground resistance fighter, the other a prisoner of war. A crumpled note passes between those 2 strangers and sets them on a course that will change their lives forever. So I'm always really interested in reading books that are either fiction or non-fiction set around the Holocaust and World War II, so that piqued my interest. And then the other one is The Sisters of Auschwitz by Roxanne van Imperum. And it says, the Nazis have occupied the Netherlands, but resistance is growing, and two Jewish sisters, Jannie and Leanne, are risking their lives to save those being hunted through their clandestine safe house, the High Nest. It becomes one of the most important safe houses in the country, but when the High Nest and its occupants are betrayed, the most terrifying time of the sisters' lives begins. This is the beginning of the end. With German defeat in sight, Jannie and Leanne are put on the last train to Auschwitz, along with Anne Frank and her family. What comes next challenges the sisters beyond human imagination. So it sounds like this is a true story. It would be interesting to see what it says online about this book. But yeah, I got those two. The next book is quite different from the rest. This is actually a middle grade book, or like a children's book. It says for ages 8 to 12 on the back, but I'm clearly not between those ages. I love anything to do with space, and I found myself wandering into the children's book section, and it was mainly to look for some other books and look at the Harry Potter books, but I did stumble across this one, and it's looking slightly worse for wear, I will say, only because I think I left it outside and the humidity got to it in America. But this is Space Case by Stuart Gibbs. This is a series he's done. It's a Moon Base Alpha novel. So this is the first one in the series, and it's set on the moon. NASA have built a space base on the moon, and there is people working on there, living on there. They've got obviously scientists and families and doctors up there, seeing obviously how they could inhabit another planet one day. And it follows Dashiell, who is a young sort of 12-year-old, and his experience with, you know, living on the ship, but also one day there is a mysterious murder. They think it's been covered up as being like an accident or like some sort of like suicide attempt, but Dashiell is very suspicious and believes it is a murder. So it follows Dashiell as he's starting to like investigate this potential murder, and I really enjoyed it. Despite it being middle grade, I thought it was really good, and I really want to pick up the other books. The next three books are almost like coffee table books, but not. These are 3 books by J.K. Rowling, and I looked on the Waterstones website and I didn't see copies that were as nice as these ones. I got these from Books A Million, but they are just the general American copies, I believe. So we've got Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them by Newt Scamander, J.K. Rowling. You then have Quidditch Through the Ages by Kenilworthy Wisp, again J.K. Rowling. And then you have The Tales of Beedle the Bard by Professor Albus Dumbledore, also J.K. Rowling. So I just loved the copies of these, and I thought they'd be really nice like supplement books to have after I've read the full series. I'm going to read the full series and these, and then see if I can get into Fantastic Beasts and also The Cursed Child, but we'll see. I know there's definitely mixed reviews on The Cursed Child, so I don't know if I want to delve into that. And I don't know how good I'm going to be at reading plays as opposed to just reading a book format. So I got those books because I couldn't miss up very nice copy editions. If you are looking for these, the cover art and design is by Headcase Design, so if you're looking to search for these. The next book is one by Jojo Moyes, and I've seen this countless times and I never really picked it up, but when I saw it was autographed, something about it today just sparked my interest. This is The Giver of Stars. So like I said, it is a signed copy. I'll read you the inside. Set in Depression-era America, a breathtaking story of 5 extraordinary women and their remarkable journey through the mountains of Kentucky and beyond. Alice Wright marries handsome American Bennett Van Cleve, hoping to escape her stifling life in England. But small-town Kentucky quickly proves equally claustrophobic, especially living alongside her overbearing father-in-law. So when a call goes out for a team of women to deliver books as part of Eleanor Roosevelt's new travelling library, Alice signs on enthusiastically. The leader, and soon Alice's greatest ally, is Marjorie, a smart-talking, self-sufficient woman who's never asked a man's permission for everything. They will be joined by 3 other singular women who become known as the Pack Horse Librarians of Kentucky. What happens to them and to the men they love becomes an unforgettable drama of loyalty, justice, humanity, and passion. These heroic women refuse to be cowed by men or by convention, and though they face all kinds of dangers in a landscape that is at times breathtakingly beautiful and others brutal, they're committed to their job, bringing books to people who have never had any, arming them with the facts that will change their lives. And it says, based on a true story rooted in America's past, The Giver of Stars is unparalleled in its scope and epic in its storytelling. So that's really cool that it's a true story, and anything that surrounds books I'm always interested in reading. So we then have Where the Crawdads Sing. This is apparently the deluxe edition. This is by Delia Owens. Again, it's a signed edition. Ta-da! So again, I'll read you the inside. It says, for years, rumours of the Marsh Girl have haunted Barkley Cove, a quiet town on North Carolina coast. So in late 1969, when handsome Chase Andrews is found dead, the locals immediately suspect Kaya Clark, the so-called Marsh Girl. But Kaya is not what they say. Sensitive and intelligent, she has survived for years alone in the marsh that she calls home, finding friends in the gulls and lessons in the sand. Then the time comes when she yearns to be touched and loved. When two young men from town become intrigued by her wild beauty, Kaya opens herself to a new life until the unthinkable happens. At once an exquisite ode to the natural world, a heartbreaking coming-of-age story, and a surprising tale of possible murder. Where the Crawdads Sings has touched the hearts of millions of readers around the world, and this beautiful deluxe edition features all new letter from the author. This has some beautiful illustrated work in it as well. So yeah, interesting to read that. There's a little bit of murder, a little bit of like unusualness of this girl who's grown up, you know, what seemed as different from everyone in the town near her. So we'll be interested to read that. I then got two Murder, She Wrote books. As you know, I love the Murder, She Wrote books. You can find these fairly easily in the UK. I'm assuming you can probably get them on Amazon and Waterstones, although I've not actually checked. I have bought a couple copies in Waterstones in Piccadilly Circus, so I know you can get them in the UK, but they have obviously a vast, bigger collection in the States. So I picked up The Ghost and Mrs. Fletcher, and then I picked up Prescription for Murder. So I'll briefly give you a little overview of these books. So I'll just read you the back of the books quickly. It says, for The Ghost and Mrs. Fletcher, it says, Jessica's friend Eve Simpson has recently taken on the task of selling one of Cabot Cove's oldest properties, the Spencer Percy house. Its current occupant, Cliff Cooper, is convinced he's about to die and wants the house sold so he can give the proceeds to his grandson. But Eve's got quite a challenge on her hands. Not only is the building in deplorable physical condition, it is also rumoured to be haunted. When Cliff's deadly premonition becomes a reality, Dr. Seth Hazlitt is not so sure he died of natural causes. Now, as Jessica tries to get to the bottom of Cliff Cooper's death, a medium hired by Eve attempts to rid the house of alleged apparition, and if Jessica isn't careful, she may be the one who joins the ranks of the dearly departed. So, love a murder mystery. And then the other one, which is Prescription for Murder. It says, Jessica's latest book tour brings her to Tampa, Florida. That was why I picked this up. Where she meets up with an old friend, Cabot Cove's Dr. Seth Hazlitt. Seth is town visiting Alvaro Vasquez, a renowned physician who is developing a potentially groundbreaking cure for Alzheimer's. If he's successful, his American backers stand to take millions, but there's a growing fear that the drug may fall in the wrong hands. Jessica attends a party at his home, but the celebration ends abruptly when Vasquez seems to be struck by lightning. Jessica and Seth do some digging into the physician's checkered past and learn that his death was no accident. As they work together to find a cure for the common killer, they become enmeshed in an international intrigue involving the local police, the FBI, and the CIA, and begin to wonder where they'll ever see Cabot Cove again. It's a bit of a mouthful. So those were the two Murder, She Wrote books that I picked up to add to my collection. The next book is more of like a biography. This is Ball of Fire. This is The Tumultuous Life and Comic Art of Lucille Ball by Stephen Kampfer. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know that I love I Love Lucy and Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz, and it's been a while since I've read a book about Lucille Ball. I do have both her book and I have Desi's book and a couple of other sort of like autobiography books that people have written, but I thought I would give this one a go. There's some interesting little pictures and things inside as well, so that breaks it up a little bit. It does look like quite a heavy, like fact-based book, so we'll see how in-depth I can get into it. Sometimes if books have too many like facts and figures and dates, it just like overwhelms me, but seeing as I love Lucille Ball, I thought I would pick it up. And then finally I have two books again from the children's section. Whilst we were away, we watched Frozen 2 and me and Darren loved it. Before we went away we watched the first one so we could prepare ourselves for the second one, and I saw these in the kids section and I couldn't pass them up. So the first one is Frozen 2 Forest of Shadows, original tale by Camilla Benko. So this sounds like it is another story just set in the Frozen world. Yeah, and then the other one I got was Frozen 2 the Deluxe Junior Novelization. This is a special edition one, and I believe this is more based on the actual film and the retelling of the film. Yes, and this one has some pictures in it as well of the film, so I won't show you too much in case you've not seen it, but yeah, I thought it would be really nice to reread it like the film and then have this brand new sort of novel to read based in the same world. So very pleased with those two. And that was all the books that I got. As you can see, quite a few, about on par for like the normal amount I bring back, and really excited to get into these books and start reading them. I have a huge to be read shelf now and it's becoming a problem, so I seriously need to get through reading these books and finishing the Harry Potter series. I'm sort of reading a book of Harry Potter and then listening to it on audiobook at the same time, and also watching the film, so I still need to watch Prisoner of Azkaban again and then I can start on the fourth book. I would like to sort of finish each one as like a chapter and then start the new book. So yeah, if you liked seeing this whole video, let me know down below. If you want to see any reviews of particular books when I end up reading them, let me know. And if you've also read them, give me tips, did you like them or not? And yeah, hit subscribe for more book videos and I will see you soon. Bye guys.